Hello everyone, this is Juliet again from Prega News, and I welcome you to Prega News with a very good wishes on this Happy New Year 2022. So basically today's topic would be like what all are the disorders that are related to amniotic fluid during your pregnancy. As we have already discussed before in the previous video that what is amniotic fluid. Today here we'll be discussing about the disorders of amniotic fluid. So without getting delay, let's get started. Disorder. Before we understand it, we need to know what all are the disorders that are seen because of this amniotic fluid. Basically, the disorders are of two types. One is your oligohydramnios and the other one is polyhydramnios. These are the basic conditions where the amniotic fluid becomes less or more in comparison to the normal amount. In case of oligohydramnios, there is too little amniotic fluid, whereas in case of polyhydramnios, here disorder is because of more amount of fluid inside the uterus. So when we are discussing about oligohydramnios, it is low level of amniotic fluid, basically referred as oligohydramnios, occurs in 4% of all the pregnancies and 12% of post-date pregnancies. Oligohydramnios is present when the amniotic fluid index is seen on the ultrasound measures less than 5 cm. A normal index is always in between 5 to 25 cm, and the maximum vertical pocket that should be less than 2 cm. Here in this picture you can see how the fluid is getting reduced and what all are the problems being faced. Next, let's get into detail like how it happens. Basically, rupture of the membranes is the most common case of oligohydramnios. However, because of amniotic fluid is primarily fetal, urine is the latter half of the pregnancy. The absence of fetal urine production or a blockage in the fetus's urine tract can also result in oligohydramnios. Let's discuss what all are the problems that can cause oligohydramnios. If oligohydramnios happens in the second trimester, that is the first 6 months of pregnancy, it is more likely to cause serious problems than if it appears or happens in last trimester. Basically, these problems are birth defects, miscarriage, premature birth, stillbirth. Birth defects consist of problems body that are present at birth. Miscarriage, when a baby dies in the womb before 20 weeks of pregnancy. Premature birth, that is birth before 37 weeks of pregnancy. Stillbirth, when a baby dies in the womb after 20 weeks of pregnancy. If at all oligohydramnios happens in the third trimester of pregnancy, it can cause the baby to grow slow. Problems during labor and birth, such as the umbilical cord being squeezed. The umbilical cord carries food and oxygen from the placenta to the baby. If at all it is getting squeezed, the baby doesn't get enough food and oxygen. This leads to the greater chance of needing a C-section. Some other reasons why this oligohydramnios are being caused. Sometimes the causes of oligohydramnios are also not known, but we will definitely focus on the causes that we could understand. So some known cases are health problems such as high blood pressure or pre-existing diabetes. Certain medications like those used to treat high blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, you have to talk to the doctor before getting pregnant to make sure that your blood pressure remains under control. Postpartum pregnancy, a pregnancy that goes 2 or more weeks past the due date. A full-term pregnancy is one that lasts 39 to 41 weeks. Birth defects, especially one that affect the baby's kidney and urinary tract. Premature rupture of the membranes, when the amniotic sac breaks after 37 weeks of pregnancy but before labor starts. Next disorder is polyhydramnios. So let's discuss and understand what exactly it is. polyhydramnios, as we have already discussed before, is the excessive accumulation of amniotic fluid. It is the fluid that surrounds the baby in the uterus during pregnancy. Polyhydramnios occurs in about 1 to 2% of pregnancies. Basically, most cases of polyhydramnios are mild, and that results from gradual build-up of amniotic fluid during the second half of pregnancy. Fetal disorder that can lead to polyhydramnios include gastrointestinal disorder, including duodenal or esophageal atresia. Gastrointestinal disorder, including duodenal or esophageal atresia, gastroschisis, diaphragmatic hernia. Brain or nervous system disorder such as anencephaly or myotonic dystrophy, achondroplasia, a bone growth disorder, fetal heart rate problems, infection, Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome, which is a congenital growth disorder, fetal lung abnormalities, hydrops fetalis, in which an abnormal level of water builds up inside multiple body areas of a fetus. Twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, where one child gets more blood flow than the other. Mismatched blood between mother and the child, example, Rh incompatibility or Kell diseases. Basically, most cases of polyhydramnios are mild and result from a gradual buildup of amniotic fluid during the second half of pregnancy. Severe polyhydramnios may cause shortness of breath, preterm labor, or other signs and symptoms. If you are by chance diagnosed with polyhydramnios, your healthcare provider will carefully monitor your pregnancy to help prevent complications. Treatments depends on the severity of the condition. Mild polyhydramnios may go away on its own. Severe polyhydramnios may require closer monitoring. Let's discuss about some of the maternal symptoms that can include abdominal pain and difficulty breathing due to the enlargement of the uterus. Certain complications include preterm labor, preterm rupture of membranes, placental abruption, stillbirth, postpartum hemorrhage, fetal malposition, cord prolapse. Now the question arises, who is basically affected by polyhydramnios? Any pregnant woman can be affected by polyhydramnios. What all are the symptoms? Symptoms are sensation of tightness in stomach, indigestion, difficulty with bowel movement, producing less urine, enlargement of vulva, breaking troubles, swelling of legs, thigh, hip, ankle or foot. So basically, what all are the causes? On the right hand side, we can understand and compare both the pictures, disorders as per the level of amniotic fluid. What all are the causes? Let's focus what all are the causes. Birth defect affecting the baby's ability to swallow, high blood sugar level, carrying identity twins with transfusion syndrome, differing blood types, problem in the baby's stomach, issues with the placenta, too much fluid in the baby, complications with the heart rate of the baby develops an infection. How will a doctor diagnose polyhydramnios? A doctor will measure your stomach and determine if your uterus is too large. How is polyhydramnios treated? Polyhydramnios is generally not treated if it is mild case. If the size of the uterus becomes more of an issue and the conditions more severe, the treatment plan can be formulated by your doctor. This plan will more than likely focus on the cause of polyhydramnios. For example, medication can be taken to control the baby's urine production while in the womb. Other treatments include bed rest, draining amniotic fluid using a large needle, including labor area, inducing labor early. When do I call the doctor about polyhydramnios? A doctor should be called to further evaluate your conditions of polyhydramnios. If your belly becomes larger in a very short amount of time, this may cause you to deliver a baby early. Let's discuss about the complications that comes up and are associated with polyhydramnios. During polyhydramnios, the distressed uterus puts pressure on other organs. Some other complications include mother going into labor too early, baby being born too early, baby growing too quickly and becoming too large while in the womb, placenta detaching from uterus before birth of baby, mother suffering from too much giving birth, umbilical cord falling out before baby is born, baby laying in wrong position inside the womb, baby being born without signs of life. What is the outlook for patients who have polyhydramnios? Advised to give birth in a hospital rather than at home. The baby's heartbeat will be evaluated during labor to make sure the baby is not going through too much stress. Large amount of fluid passes as you give birth, which is normal during this time. The baby's stomach may be evaluated after birth to make sure there is nothing abnormal. So with this, we will end this video, and I hope every one of you would have pretty well understood about the two defects of amniotic fluid. Please keep checking out the videos from Prega News and do not forget to click on the bell icon. And please do not forget to subscribe, share and like my channel. Thank you.